Happy Friday. It's July the 25th, I believe. And I wanted to hop on here and give you a little bit more detail as to what I've been looking at the last several days here for XRP. Of course, on Tuesday or Wednesday, we had the big drawdown here after this failed bull flag, where we were trying to put in a wave 5. So here on the smaller time frames, we were looking at this wave 5 here, and we were hoping that we were getting a wave 5 up to at the least 414, 415, and I'll tell you why that was a kind of an initial target. But I was hoping we were even more bullish compared to November of 2024. We clearly were following the same track as 2024 until here. So this is clearly a deviation from November of 2024 and the breakout there. But yeah, I was looking at least for 414, 415. I was actually looking for the best case scenario that this was a super 3, that we were seeing market expansion and we were at least coming up here to the $5 to $6 range. Obviously that didn't happen. We had a truncated 5th. And then we rolled over here for a larger 4 correction. So let me show you why I'm seeing that as being the case, and also show you why I'm a little concerned and that I'm starting to lean that this is more of the ending wave 5 rather than this being the wave 3. I think probably the Elliot wave count that I've seen from some statisticians is correct, that this was the initial wave 1. This was your ABC, complex correction. Then wave 3. This was wave 4. And now we're putting in our ending 5th up to either $6 or $8. Now, again, that could be a larger just wave 1, then a wave 2, then a larger wave 3, and a larger wave 5 ultimately. But we just don't know that. And I think it's very foolish for us to assume that's going to be the case, especially when Bitcoin seems to be reaching the end of its 4-year cycle, comparative to the halving, however you say it. So that's important as we look at where we're at. So clearly this is a deviation from November. I was hoping that we were on the same track as November, that we were in a fairly vertical parabola, and that we were coming up to this $8 to $11 range for the immediate impulse. We didn't do that, and even worse, what we did here, let me show you. My issue here is when you measure the top of the move from January down to the bottom in April, what you have is an impulse that didn't even capture the 1.113 Elliott wave extension, which for XRP, it's been doing this a lot. It's been coming up and tapping that 1.113 fib extension and then catching people off guard and rolling it over. We didn't even catch that. We front ran that here. And if this was really, really bullish, we should have seen at least a capture of the 1.272 at 415, 416. So that's my major issue currently, is we didn't even do that here on this intermediate move. We front ran the 113 and then rolled over. And so this is probably a wave 4 within this count here. I don't even really like this as an impulsive count. It's more of a zigzag. I don't even really, it's even hard for me to count. You probably have to get down on a smaller time frame, but that's probably 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So maybe that's valid as a one wave, and then this is your 2. This was your 3. This is 4. Obviously, I hope we hold $3. If not, we're coming down to test 285. So that could be our 4. And then either 538 or 657 or maybe 866. XRP does love extended 5th waves, so I'm not going to rule out 866. That would also come in line with several others who are watching this. But let me show you why I think this is probably the right count currently. because if you come in here and you measure this impulse wave, this wave 3, and this was a wave 3, there's no doubt that this was a wave 3. We got very, very clean impulse here. And we wicked the 1886, which XRP loves to do a lot on Elliot wave 3 impulses. So we wicked that, and typically when you get that straight, when you get the 1886, bot algos are preset to drive to the 3618 or to the 4618. Typically it's going to be the 3618, so 627, 625 is a high likelihood for the top of wave 5. We could get overthrow to the 4618 at 866. So that's what I'm watching as the most likely bull scenario. I was hoping we were more bullish and that we would come up here to the $11 to $12 range, then maybe have an intermediate wave 4, and then go even higher to the mid 20s. Of course, you can see my $49 price up there, but yeah, guys, I don't like this move, even though it's not terribly, it's not a crash. It's not the end of the world. Okay, I'm not overreacting in that way, but I am just being honest to the count and saying I don't see in here, because we had just finished that here, right? And then we were supposed to have a very clean move up here next, and then really just keep marching upward. But we've put this move in a lot lower. Really, we shouldn't have gotten in that until we hit the 450 area. We shouldn't have gotten this 11 to 13% daily pullback until we hit that area. So it just goes to show you that these moves are not identical, but they do rhyme in some degree. But I just don't like some of what I'm seeing in the price action currently. So I think calling for prices higher than that $8.50 range right now just don't warrant it based on the last several days of data. And this is where you have to change your views as the market gives them to you. Couple this with Chris Larson selling several million of his XRP on exchanges over the last several days, and this makes sense, So that's what I'm seeing in the market. Obviously, I'd want to hold this area. We might come down to 285, but honestly, I don't see why we would need to. I think we've satisfied wave 4, and now we should start making our march up to 625 or 866. So I think that's where we're at. And then the biggest issue for me is time. We are just running out of time. These impulses historically for XRP have not lasted more than 60 to 70 days. So if this last impulse started on the summer solstice, and we measure out 60, let's be generous and say 70 days. That's the end of August. So we've got to get to $6 to $8 by the end of August. There is no debate in that. Of course, we're going to have a monthly candle close here soon. So that's also important to look at if you come out to the monthly. Of course, I don't like this weekly. We had a weekly pullback here intra-week. Hopefully this weekly still can close green, and we can start to make our move here still within this weekly candle. But when you come out to the monthly, you're seeing kind of the same thing. We really need to close this monthly without a big wick at the top. Back in November, we had a monthly candle that had hardly any wick at the top of that candle there. So we really need a strong close here over the last few days of the month of July going into August. And then we need a strong month in August. After August, I would see at least a 1 to 2 month pullback, and then maybe we get a final blow off fifth. Again, a lot of that data is going to need to be uncovered as we start to reach these targets. And here's the key: how we reach $6 to $8. If we reach $6 to $8 with a very, very strong bullish move, and it's not, this weak flea dicking around where we're kind of getting up there, kind of not. We're getting this weird price action. But if we get a really strong move to 6 to 8, then I will keep open the idea that we're going to have an intermediate 4 here for yet a blow off fifth, maybe to 13 or 15. But this move over the last few days has told me that perhaps we are in a different count than what I was hoping we were in. So that's just where you can't be married to a bias. You have to try to best evaluate this data as the market gives it to you. So, yeah, I hope that analysis helps you. Obviously, I'm not telling you what to do. This is not financial advice. You're an adult. You can make your own decisions. But I'm just giving you what I'm seeing and how I'm seeing it in the market. You're free to disagree. That's why there's buyers and sellers in a market. So, totally understand that. But if you disagree, feel free to share that in the comments below. But just give me your reasoning why. And I'm completely open to looking at other angles. I've learned in this space that ego will make you poor quicker than anything. And so I can always be wrong. All I want to do is be profitable. So I would rather someone tell me where I'm wrong and get me to look at it from a different perspective so that I can be profitable. That's the ultimate goal here. I don't care who's right. I just want to be profitable. So hope that helps you in your mindset, and you guys have a great weekend. Hopefully I'm almost completely well here, still dealing with a cold, but I'll try to give you a weekend check-in as well, and hope everyone has a great rest of the week. And yeah, we'll see what happens here over the next several days. Talk to you soon.